Hey, Brian Losey here with Priority One Fishing. We are chasing rainbows, cutthroat, and hopefully some giant tiger trout today. We are here at Schofield Reservoir, central Utah, late December, and we're on a hot bite. So we're going to show you some tips, tricks, and some information to keep you on that hot bite today with Priority One Fishing. Here he comes. He's on me. That didn't take long at all. I can get him to bite now. That was one that raced in there. Yep. We're gonna have to try it again here. All right, chasing some trout today here at Schofield Reservoir, and had one rush in here just a moment ago. We're fishing some pretty aggressive techniques. I have a little micro Z-Viber here from Euro Tackle, a little kind of micro minnow imitation, about 1/16 of an ounce, but heavy for its size. This thing is a pretty small bait, and just kind of get the feel for the bite, see what's going on. We've already caught a couple of cutthroat, one rainbow. So had a pretty nice one over here on as well too. Hopefully we can get one of those bigger ones through the hole. Techniques for this right now, and see we're fishing pretty aggressive, but generally I'm going to assume that fish are neutral until they prove me different. And a neutral type of bait would lead me to maybe a tube jig or something I can hang. It has a lot of pulse in the water, marabou jigs. Some of those baits that if you need to, you can fish them aggressively, but you don't have to actually get that bite. And profile-wise, these fish will take a pretty good-sized bait. I mean, they're pretty carnivorous. Cutthroat, I mean, they're put in this reservoir to kind of eradicate the chub populations, and they're doing a great job with that. Biomass-wise, this lake was overrun with chubs, and the division actually had a program here a couple of years ago to introduce some predator species, some tiger muskies, some wipers. They even put a few small sterile walleye in here just this last year or so. We might have even more predator options down the road to keep these chubs under control, and a bunch of cutthroat. So as they dropped this population down, if they knocked this population down with chubs with some of these predator fish, they had to replace the biomass with something, and those desirable species that everybody wants to fish for out here is trout. A lot of cutthroat trout, tiger trout, rainbows were stocked in the reservoir, and they continue to kind of predate those smaller chubs. They put a slot limit on the fish so that you can have to release everything between 15 and 22 inches, and you can keep a couple fish outside of those ranges, but that core size allows not only for the cutthroat to kind of reach their maturity and go through their spawning cycles, but also to get to the size that they can really predate those chub populations, and it's doing a great job. I mean, a couple years ago, that's all you could catch out here was chubs. I mean, you would catch them one after another as fast as you could get your bait down, and they were fun. You know, I'd keep a few of them, you know, for burbot bash and stuff like that here. But I mean, you don't want to catch chubs all day long, right? You want to have some of those table fare fish. So they did a good job. They actually did a good job. They got those chubs knocked down, and the trout are making a comeback. And we're hopefully going to show a couple of those here on camera for you. We'll see if I can get another one to rush in. That was a pretty aggressive fish when he come in on the graph, but then he backed off right at the last minute. But I'm confident we're going to see a few more here. As it gets a little bit later in the day too, we're going to start to see those fish kind of work up into this rock pile and these shade lines up here. It's kind of what we set on this point. We're actually out here by an island, and sometimes you get those predator fish up in here too, up against these rocks. A few years ago, this lake was known for giant tiger trout as well. You may have heard some of the fish coming out of here. There's one that was pushing it was about 18.5 pounds, and then not even 6 months later, there was another fish caught. That one through the ice. That was over 19 pounds, over 37 inches. And to give you kind of perspective of a tiger trout that large, the world record's 21 pounds. So definitely world-class fishery when you look at how well this lake can produce big fish. And big cutthroat, big rainbow in here as well. Tiger muskie are around that mid 30-inch range now. Starting to make that turn into kind of a sport fishery in that sense as well for those anglers who like to target those fish. Haven't heard of anything coming through the ice on those species though, wipers or tiger muskie. But I imagine it's only a matter of time before you see one of them caught. Who knows? Maybe it'll be us today. Oop. Maybe. No. Yeah. Let's keep working the bait and see what we can pick up here. All right, we switched it up just a little bit, and we're going to try something with a little bit bigger profile. See if we can call fish in. So what appears is these fish are coming out of some of this deeper water, and they're starting to slide up into the shallower areas. And we want to capitalize on their visual range. Now the water, say this lake's been capped for probably close to 30 days now, and the water clarity has really started to improve. We got nice clear conditions up against here, everything's stabilized. So we're going to utilize the sight aspect of these predators and see if they can't see something like a large profile jig from a distance. So we're going to be using what's called a Craigie. Now this is from Mackie Plastics. It's marketed through Cold Snap. Now it looks kind of like a little crayfish or something like that, kind of an isopod. I don't know if you can see that here on camera. We're just running a little 1/8 ounce jig head in it. And I've actually reset this, or set this jig head back about 1/4 of an inch from the head. And I want to kind of get that curvature of what might look like an actual crayfish tail swimming away as we're moving this. So a lot of crayfish in this lake, and it's a predominant food source for the fish. And we've gone with orange just to kind of give a little more visible pop. And a lot of times early ice, like this lake, I mean relatively early ice conditions, I'm going to fish a lot of really bright colors. Everything's living, nothing's dying yet, so you still have a lot of organisms like that that are going to be bright. They're going to have a lot of those color aspects to them. The fish really respond to it. And we put a little mealworm on the end there, a little bit of meat, a little bit of flavor. Let's see if we can't entice a fish with this. They're in there. Profile like this shouldn't take very long to draw a fish in. Oh, there he is. He's on me. You there? He was thinking about it for a minute. White kind of isopod, a couple of twin tails on it, slightly smaller than the Craigie, but still pretty good sized bait, and absolutely ideal to use the inline reel to fish that type of bait, because it's a big horizontal profile which can create a lot of line twist, and these inline reels are straight off the spool, straight to your target, so they eliminate a lot of that line twist, allow you to present the bait the way that you think you're presenting the bait. You don't have all of that unnecessary twisting and twirling going on down there. So when the fish get a little finicky, like what we've seen in a few fish that we have caught, we've really had to kind of tease into biting the bait. Every little advantage you can get, I'd take it. So we're using the Gravity Elite Hybrid reel. This is a free fall type of a reel. You have this little gravity release mechanism here, and it allows that bait to fall down nice and smooth. Hence the gravity, just use gravity. And a medium light clam legacy rod. It's a 32-inch medium light. Lots of power in this rod. It's a 24-ton carbon rod. And it powers down most fish. I put it to the test with some bigger trout, and it holds its own pretty well. Also gives you plenty of sensitivity if are using it as like a spoon rod, and maybe going for perch and stuff like that as well. You can really feel what the baits are doing. So another one coming in a little faster now. Got him on the back half of the day. See if we can coax another one up to the hole. Oh, there he is. And he's biting. He's on. Come on. See, we're just really kind of feeding it back to these fish. Oh, see, and I still missed him. See if we can get him to come back. Yep, he grabbed it. There we go. Oh. Is he still there? Yep, chasing it. He's on it. There. Oh. I'll tell you. There he is. He's back on it. He's back on it. Come on, fish. There you go. Make him angry. That fish was darting all over that bait. Well, let's check our lure status. Yeah, as I thought, it didn't quite look the same because he had destroyed it. Well, I'm gonna have to give you another plastic. Come back and see if we can catch that fish. I think we're starting to see these fish follow a shade line. Oh, there he is. He rushed that thing. Ooh, he was on it. That fish is hot. And did you catch it? Caught it. Got him. Man, that fish rushed it and then come back up on it and hit it. Oh, there we go. What do we got going on here? That's really fast, dude, sir. There we go. Get out of there, fish. And almost got it. There we go. Pulling over there for a second. Let's get him back in the hole. What an aggressive guy. I thought he was gonna be a big tiger trout for a minute. He absolutely wanted that little bait right there. Now see, these gravity reels are absolutely phenomenal. Just hit the trigger, down we go. You can adjust the tension for even the lightest of jigs. It's nice when you're fishing for like real tentative bluegill, crappie. You don't want your bait to just plummet right into the school. Whoop, there he is. He's on me, he's on me. And he's on. There's a little more weight. There's a little more weight. Not a ton more. Pretty frisky fish though. bit bigger. Whoa. Oh, and the hook's off. Back in the hole here. Nice little cutthroat. Lots of cutthroat today. Trying to get them back in the hole as quick as we can. It's getting kind of chilly out here. Whoa. That one wasn't even on the graph when he hit. There we go. Nice fish. Real smooth drag. I mean, look at those head shakes. Down. There we go. Now we're talking. It's almost the best fish of the day. Not the same size as that second one we picked up. Calm down. Calm down. We'll get you back in there. All sorts of fired up. Releasing some of those gases. We can see there. Take a look at those chompers. Come on, open up. There you go. Boy. They've got some canine teeth on them, don't they? What a predator. Now we're holding it about 6 inches to a foot off the bottom. It seems a lot of these cutthroat are coming through really, really close to the bottom. So, I mean, who knows, maybe they think this is a crayfish or of some sorts. It's usually a pattern that's pretty typical of fish that are conditioned to eating bloodworms. You'll see them come through really close to the bottom like that. A lot of people think fish are really smart, but they're very instinctual. Kind of like training a dog to fetch. If you got fish that are kind of cruising across the bottom of the lake, they're more apt to eating bloodworms than they are maybe a scud bite. So if you're fishing scuds for those fish, scud imitations, chances are you may not have as much success as if you were fishing a bloodworm. On the flip side, if you got fish darting through mid-water column, it could either be a minnow bite or it could be that scud bite. And if you're fishing a bloodworm, well, same goes for that as well. You may catch a fish or two, but to optimize your success, look at how those fish are conditioned and what they like to eat. And you see, the longer a certain fish is in the system, I mean, you get a fish that's 2, 3, 4 years old. Whoops, there he is. You end up with a fish that does really show those conditioned tendencies. But all sorts of fish. 2 or 3 here. Nibbling at me. Picked it up. See, this line just went slack, and the only way I was able to see that strike, because I'm using a metered line. Oh, there we go. Clam Pro Tackle Frost metered fluorocarbon. There's our fish. Look at that guy. They're getting bigger. They are getting bigger. Still not the 20-pounder we're after, but we'll take him. Yeah, that fish, before he finally took it, lifted up on the line when he hit the bait. And I only was able to detect that by looking at that line movement. And this pink transition that I have on this line really made a difference there. Beautiful fish. Big pectoral fins, bright orange. Just a wonderful species. Okay, let's get back down there and catch a few more. Here's a gravity drop all the way down. Nice one-hand operation, no line twist. It's perfect. Perfect deployment. And we got a fish on us already. Come right off the bottom. Still there? You come up and met that lure about 2 feet from the bottom. Just watch the big red blob just streak up off the bottom. And he's not there, he's not coming back. Maybe we had a bigger one in there that kind of scared him off. Such a beautiful lake. If you haven't had a chance to get up here and try this, just a phenomenal fishery. We're sitting on about 12 inches of ice. Last part of December. Perfect conditions. Well, I think that's a good finish for the day. Great day out here on Schofield. Beautiful cutthroat, beautiful scenery. Get out here, see if you can catch yourself some fish. Ice is in great shape. There's a lot of fish to be had out here. They are aggressive and super hungry, so stay tuned. It's Brian Losey with Priority One Fishing. More adventures to come. Get out there, tight lines. All right, get a little bit of little fin hook there.